Jew nose.
What'd you say about my nose?
Go look in your message log. You can take a screenshot of it and adore it all day long.
In my message log? I didn't look. Is there anything good in there?
Exactly what I just called you. So now you have a
Wow.
picture of it, and you can actually say that, yeah, he really did call me that.
You went full Kanye West on me, huh?
Hey, I don't give a fuck about that guy. Both.
How you been?
Both apply. Both apply at this point in time. What's up, Jake?
I'm
Mr.
doing good.
Waters.
Can't complain.
Mr. Waters. Can't complain. Nobody gives a fuck, right?
Oh no, they care. They care deeply.
How sure are you about that?
I'm really sure. I'm also thinking I should be in the desert with you. We're desert people. So now we're in the desert. Welcome.
We're in the desert while being in the clouds. Good job.
Yeah. I mean, there's gonna be clouds wherever we go. I assume. That's just how that works.
I had to make a new background. And I chopped up a picture, but I didn't lose the original image. But
any fool can run towards the light. It takes a true master with courage to turn and face the darkness, and I can't read it under your thing. Light there.
highlight a comment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, highlight a comment. There you go.
Oh, there you go. To turn and face the darkness and shine in its own light. GP, why can't I see your... I can't see your... Oh, there you go. Camera's on now. What's going on, GP? How you doing tonight?
I'm still backstage.
No, I can hear you now. You're on. I think it's your... it's your
you.
connection.
It says that I was still backstage.
Oh. Yeah, well, you're live. We can hear you.
Oh, okay.
And see you.
Yeah, I can hear that you're going to be doing a stream on women should be carrying handguns.
Oh, I wasn't going to do a stream on it. It's actually a clip from an old episode. But
okay.
But yeah, I saw your comment. I didn't know you were carrying. That's good to know. Me and Stone Wolf actually talked about it, and yeah, I think that's the main reason I like guns in the world is that women can have an equalizer. I assume there's connection issues. What do you think about women carrying guns, Kirst?
I'm against the statement you just said on different levels, not meaning to be disrespectful, but the point of humans having something that can, in a sense, the way that you said it, I don't follow through with a weapon is an equalizer. What's up, Stone Wolf?
I do. I feel like honestly, women are disadvantaged.
Honestly, it's not an equalizer. Honestly, it's an overpowered thing. It's kind of like in the sense. It's in the sense a man comes after a woman. A woman has a gun. Do you think the man is actually going to stop unless she unloads the clip before the man actually gets to her? Number one. Number two.
I hope she does. I hope she does.
That's number two. The whole point of the man will probably get there before she unloads the clip goes into the fact of the man's stamina. Most men have a level of stamina and pain tolerance where even if she did unload the clip, the woman's going to have the man on top of her at the end of it, whether the man's dead or alive. And now she has to get 200 pounds off of her fucking body by herself. I don't consider it an equalizer. I consider it, in a way, an ender. Like most times with weapons of caliber like that, there is only negative outcomes. Is what I mean by my statements. I don't mean it as a disrespectful statement against women having guns. I mean it as negative outcomes no matter what. That's why I wanted to say it's complicated, but I wanted to explain myself before I just said it's complicated.
So let me double down on what I said. The reason I think it's an equalizer, which I think it also fits your statement, is because I think by nature, men are actually overpowering women by a significant amount. It's not equal. So that's why I say it's an equalizer by being significantly over advantaged with a weapon, just like men start out.
So here we go. I can give a scrawny man weaker than me a butter knife, and I can give a woman that's trained with a gun and put 10 meters between them, 30 feet. That's about right. Yeah. 10 meters, 30 feet, roughly, etc. And then what do you think will happen? Do you think it'll be equal at that point in time? Give the man less than me a butter knife. But either way it goes, it's like what I stated. At the end of the day, it's a negative outcome if there's a gun involved.
No, because I would assume, because that analogy doesn't really fit what we're talking about, because I think it would be the guy confronting the woman is why I'm calling it an equalizer, because I don't think a guy with a butter knife and a trained person with a gun are just going to go at it in some kind of a duel. You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking about an assault type of situation where a woman would have to defend herself, and that's why I said that in the beginning.
And I'm agreeing with you. That's why I'm stating it's complicated. But the whole point of the fact of the matter is the reason why I put distance there, because if the woman has a gun and the man is within arm's length anyway, either way it goes. Like I just said, 200 pounds are on top of the woman at the end of the conflict, and now she has to deal with 200 pounds getting off of her.
Oh no, I think she can take care of it before he gets that close. Hopefully, that's actually the reason that when I was uploading this, it was me and Stone that were talking about it, and the video is going to premiere in a couple days. But I like the fact that because we have tasers and stuff like that, I don't like close combat stuff for women. I think they should have something where they could keep their enemy back from even farther away, so where they wouldn't land on top of said man. I mean,
and I actually had a conversation with somebody recently. I'm not scared of a gun, but no offense to the voltage of a taser, but I've been shocked with more than a toy. So yeah, a taser terrifies me compared to a gun not even causing a chemical response from me.
I tried taking 440 from a dryer. Taser's nothing.
Thank you, Stonewolf, for understanding what I'm trying to say. A taser is more or less a toy from the things I've been hit with.
Yeah, depending on your rage, it's enough to lock up the muscles. That's all you need.
Well, it's the same thing with pepper spray.
I think pepper spray is worse than
tolerance with pepper spray.
Worse than a lot of things. Ooh.
Well, you don't even have to have tolerance for it; just the inability to react to it. Some people don't react to it. Well, not in a good way, at least.
Well, some people have had training, or some people have got themselves to a point where they're non-reactive to pretty much anything. And I'm not just talking words at this point. It's like what you're stating. Like, you can literally shoot them with a gun, and they'll look at the bullet hole and look at you, be like, was that supposed to hurt?
I think you missed.
Yeah, I think you missed. Exactly. Something like that. Looked right at the bullet hole and looked, I think you missed.
I don't know. Like I said, I think it's an advantage that women should have, because most of the time
that's the word. That's a better word. I'll agree. That's a better word. I couldn't think of one myself. Thank you, Mr. Waters.
Defensive training is always the best, and if you have to use tools in that, have the tools. And I think women should. And there are a lot of different kinds of tools.
And I'm quite sure if Mudrabbit was up here, isn't Mudrabbit the one that's actually trained defensively?
Yeah.
She's like actually trained in a lot of martial arts or something of nature of caliber. And
Not of a lot of martial arts, but I think just one specifically. I think she took Taekwondo, and also
That's a decent one.
And she also carries.
Yeah, a lot of people carry. I'm not one of them. But like I say, I'm never unarmed.
I got 2 guns and 10 bullets right here, guys.
Right
Talking
here.
about my arms. Yeah, exactly. 10 bullets. 2 guns and 10 bullets. Damn right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also don't carry, and I know if somebody was carrying against me, I'd be outmatched. But I don't know. I'd rather take my odds. I'm not big on guns.
I'd rather
especially for
use
guys.
the brain and de-escalate the situation, which I've been
True.
successful at many times.
De-escalation is always a good motive, good route to take. I didn't mean to say motive. Good route to take. Yeah, at some point in time there is no de-escalation to a situation, and
That's when you got to break out the guns.
Defend. Yeah, it's de-escalation then defend.
What's going on, Prop? I didn't see your comment slide in there. Hope you're doing well. But when it comes to like people with guns and being aggressive, I feel like it's immediate. Otherwise, you have time to de-escalate it. Like they're either going to shoot and not ask questions, or they're going. They don't actually want to shoot, and then you have.
If they don't shoot, that means they don't want to.
Yeah, there's a hesitation there where that's where you have the ability to actually talk to them about it.
And not just guns, it's any kind of conflict.
But yeah, if somebody comes with intent, with a weapon,
somebody comes up swinging. Comes up swinging or grabbing, game on. That's as simple as truth. But if somebody doesn't, that means they're thinking about it. Then you can get into their head.
But I appreciate it, Crystal. That was good. That was a good topic to start us off with.
What's up, Prop? Yeah, I agree. If they're pulling it out and they're already firing, there's no nothing. It's immediately defend, do what you need to do.
Defend,
but if they
dodge, run, whatever you gotta do,
But if they pull it out and they, it's like you'll notice it because either they've exhaled whenever they pulled it out or they've inhaled whenever they pull it out. It's a lot of behavioral.
That's the difference too.
Yes. Yeah. It's a lot of behavioral science that goes into it. And most of the times, whenever they exhale, whenever they pull it out, they're most likely not going to shoot.
I wouldn't play that game. I feel like if they come out firing,
play it either.
Yeah, I'm not looking at that kind of body language. I'm already assessing.
Yeah, most people aren't on that level to notice that much of their surroundings. Is what I will also say.
You got to look in the eye.
I'm gonna say, somebody pulls out a gun, the last thing I'm doing is eyeing them that much and standing, depending on the crowd around me, just to not single myself out for any reason. You know what I mean? Like if you're around a group of people and then all of a sudden you're eyeing the guy and he sees you, you know what I mean? If you guys make eye contact,
if that saves
you're victim one. You're victim one.
Right. And I mean, yeah, what you just said, Stone, that was a good answer. He goes, well, then rather you than everybody else. Some people don't have that action either. It depends on who I'm around. If I'm around my family, I'm not drawing fire in my direction. You know what I mean? I'm thinking whatever I can to keep it away from my direction.
I keep away from my family.
Right.
If it's my direction and it's got to go, I'm going to make sure it's keeping it away from my family.
I kind of had the same thing about being victim one. Okay, I'm going to be the first person he's aiming at if the gun's already coming out. So I know where the first bullets are going to fly. Let's make sure they fly in the least dangerous position.
I mean, in public, that's a whole different game. It's hard to establish intention or anything else in public. But if I can do something about it.
I feel like that's where you're actually going to run into it. It's not really, I don't know how many people are really running into personal situations where you've crossed somebody so much that they show up with a gun with intention to find you. You know what I mean? I feel like a group situation. Well, I mean, yeah, depends on what kind of crowd you're rolling with, but
I've lived that in a personal situation, though.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I said depends on what coast you're on, and he makes a point with depends on the crowd.
I've had it happen with 3 people, and one of them wasn't happy, and one person did end up dead.
That's wild.
It wasn't fun.
Well, no, of course it wasn't fun. It's a high stress situation. I've had people pull out guns in front of me. I've had people pull out knives like on me. Guns and knives I've had like pulled out on me, but I could tell their intention right away. Like first this guy, the guy that pulled the knife on me, he had just gotten into an altercation with me, like fist to fist altercation, and he got his ass kicked. And he knew he did. And I asked him before I heard him further, I was like, "Are we done here? Like, are we not going any further?" Then he's like, "Yeah, we're done." And then he pulls out a knife out of his pocket. He's like, "I could have done this at any time." I was like, "Yep, you could have, but you didn't." And I noticed you didn't. And I'm like, and I was thinking the same thing. But I was the other time when a guy pulled a gun out, it was just a high stress situation, and the guy pulled it out to try to scare somebody, and I knew it was a scare tactic, so I didn't get involved. I knew he was like, I didn't want to escalate the situation. I knew it was better. And one of the guys was the guy with the weapon was under the influence, so it's like it's not one of those ones you reach for it.
90% of those kind of interactions are under the influence.
Oh yeah.
90%, because people in their right mind don't do it.
It's true. Well, and most of the time they're acting emotionally, and it's usually tied to some kind of intoxication or something.
Well, that's how I lost my mother.
Also carry a knife on my belt loop in a sheath, so if someone grabs me, that's my first choice. Yeah.
If someone grabs me, I don't take the time to worry about a knife.
Right. If you're that close to me and I can grab you too.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking close contact now.
For women, I understand. Crystal's.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I would expect her to have a knife ready.
Everything ready. I mean, I always carry a knife, but it's my everyday carry is a little tiny knife.
Little guy, yeah.
And it's useless in the fight. Catch me out in the country or something like that, I've got a big old knife.
That thing would do fine. That thing is perfect for what you needed to do.
It would do the spots that you need to hit.
Yeah.
But personally,
it comes out quick.
Yeah,
which is good.
Personally, I'd rather dislocate bones and stuff like that.
Right. Then I got time to interrogate you afterwards once you're sitting there.
Right.
Tied up or immobile.
That's called business in my sector.
Let's figure out why you're here in the first place. Oh, that's the kind of business you've been doing, Cursed?
John Wick life be real.
I get it. I get it. I didn't grow up in that kind of neighborhood. The biggest reason I carried a knife is a tool. That's the way I grew up. The reason I carried a gun is a tool. I don't have to carry a gun, so I don't care about it. But I've had guns pointed at me.
I feel like it's just like martial arts, though. It's like one of those things, like once you have one and understand the power behind it, you're not going out and looking for a fight with a gun. Same once you're trained, you're not going out and looking for a fight at the bar. Like, I don't know. You have a respect for violence the more you understand it.
When you see what it can do, you don't want to see what it can do anymore.
You can notice Dunning-Kruger in any kind of thing that you go from beginner, novice, master level. Dunning-Kruger is noticed in everything. It's like what you just explained. At the beginning of it all, you want to learn how to fuck somebody up. And at the end of it all, you just want to learn how to protect yourself and those you love.
Good way of putting it.
It's one of those things you don't want to use unless you have to, which I get. Which I don't know. I don't understand, because it makes me wonder what we do to people in the military to get them closer to that threshold of wanting to be, because certain people are picked psychologically wise to be in the military on the ground compared to other people. And now if you look at technology with like drone attacks and stuff like that, it's more of a disassociation. They want you to feel like you're playing a video game and not actually doing anything in real life. It's weird because
that's a good reference to Outside the Wire, the movie.
How's it go?
A drone pilot gets put on the front, doesn't know how to act in personal situations because had no problem bombing people from a drone.
Yeah,
but Outside the Wire was a sci-fi movie, as it was, but the references were the kind of the same thing. You take this drone pilot and you throw him on the front line and see how he reacts. And he hid behind a Jeep and panicked.
That's about right. You'll know this reference. So the Stargate episode where they have O'Neill and a couple other guys pilot against. They're on a planet and there's a civil war going on, and they tell them they're just taking out unmanned drones, and then they get behind it.
People on him. Yep.
Yeah, and they're like, all right, now we're involved in a conflict. It's like,
and pretty much buried that whole connection because of it too.
Oh yeah.
There's a movie called Battle of the Drones, and I'm just going to give a brief overview of it. Y'all can go watch it if you want to. A group of what are called mercenaries are considered loose ends. So the new thing that's coming out is humanoid robotic piloted drones from another location, and they use it on these people. And your main character pretty much explains it's the same thing we're going through right here. They don't have any they don't have the adrenaline pumping through their veins. They don't have that fear of life or death. To them, it's popping another quarter, let's go.
Yeah.
That's another thing you see throughout these is the stimulants that they give to soldiers, and that started in like World War II with the Nazis. It probably started before that. I think
before that.
The biggest reference that people usually give are like the Vikings and the Berserkers.
Doing the mushrooms before battle.
Yeah, that was always a good one. But yeah, no, they had another episode where they were making these pilots, and that's exactly what they were doing. Is they were keeping them on these stimulants, and they could only be on for so many hours. These pilots, and because their brains would just start to deteriorate because they were keeping them locked into these programs nonstop. What'd you say the name of that one was called? Cursed Drones? What
Battle of the Drones.
Battle of the Drones, yeah.
Or Battle Drones, depending on how
there's
you
two different
have
movies
it
there.
International. That it's an international thing. I'll go find the exact thing to see what it is.
I mean, I like the idea of drones, but the personal disconnect, like we're talking about, is removing it. There's been a lot of talk about this subject for sure, the personal disconnect. Because you fire a drone, just like when we started having quad drones that run around with machine guns on the front of a quad, out in the deserts over there.
Yeah.
There's absolute disconnect. Absolute disconnect.
Well, I think
2017.
That's when it came out.
Fairly new. Okay, new for me, not you young guys.
I would say if anything, the AI is getting us closer to if they think about. I was thinking about this the other day with how our military was looking. Besides, up until recently, like if there was a draft, I've always been under the impression that modern day kids would not volunteer themselves in a draft. I have a feeling they would flee the country and do a lot of other things because I feel like a lot of kids today don't really want to fight for this country.
Well, they haven't learned why we fought in the first place.
Yeah.
They just have not been taught it.
But I feel like...
I sent you a picture, Mr. Waters, to make sure that, 2017, and Yeah, whenever you look it up, there's one of the original things is called Battle of the Drones, but the picture I sent you is Battle Drone.
But yeah, I feel like they're gonna, in order to get kids more involved or the next generation into the military, they're gonna have more and more disconnect where it almost feels like you're just logging in and playing a video game, but you might be operating a drone. Like
we need more Westerns.
yeah, more. Well, just it's weird how desensitized the public is, and then also it still has the disconnect. And I don't know if it's the desensitization from the games themselves that or the news, like where you see death and destruction everywhere. Because I mean, for me, it was like 9/11. Like all around that time is when I started seeing crazy stuff on the news, or like there's beheading videos all over the internet. I mean, I grew up in the internet at a weird time where you could find pretty much anything, and it wasn't censored the same way. Like you used to be able to actually surf the internet.